The headline in the New York Times was stark. Warmer climate on the Earth may be due to more carbon dioxide in the air. The author, Waldemar Kampfert, highlighted a theory originally developed back in 1861, but which was only now being taken seriously again. Mankind's emissions of carbon dioxide might be permanently heating the atmosphere. Kampfert argued that seemingly small increases in CO2 could have grave consequences, converting the polar regions into tropical deserts and jungles with tigers roaming about and gaudy parrots squawking in the trees. Florid description aside, the scientists Kampfert spoke to argued that the rise in global temperatures of the last 60 years was due to man increasing the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere by 30%, that is, at the rate of 1.1 degrees Celsius per century. The Times' prescient article was published on the 28th of October, 1956. The last 60 years of globally rising temperatures Kampfert referred to was the time since the start of the 20th century. The science on which these predictions were based was already a century old. More than 6 decades on, the warnings feel much more real to us. Global temperatures are another degree Celsius warmer, and the pace of change is accelerating. The current best-case scenario is another 1.5 degrees Celsius increase, which brings us ever closer to the prospect of squawking Arctic parrots. But more likely is the desertification of much of southern Europe, India, and Mexico, endemic flooding, and billions of displaced people. The scientific jury was still out on why global temperatures were rising, or even with much confidence whether they were in the late 1950s. We no longer have the excuse that we don't really know what's happening, despite the special pleading of climate skeptics. The debate has moved from whether humans are responsible for climate change to what, if anything, we can do about it. Progress of sorts, but it raises a crucial question. If disaster is about to hit us, what the hell have we been doing for the past 7 decades? Climate change is a simple problem with impossible politics. By simple, I mean that the road from A to B, carbon dioxide emissions to global atmospheric heating, is direct and well understood. Carbon reduction, removal even, is an obvious solution. We understand the science. What we don't understand is how to get anyone to do anything about it, even though it affects us all. Why, despite knowing for decades that climate change is a fundamental threat to humanity, have humans been so passive? Carbon dioxide is a global problem, but our politics is helplessly domestic. If I pollute more, my emissions cannot be contained within my national borders. They're your problem too, and vice versa. And if I'm just a small country, then it probably doesn't matter much if I pollute. I can't change the global climate on my own. Of course, that's not just true for me, it's true for most other countries. We'd all prefer to carry on as normal and hope someone else will pay the costs of carbon abatement. There's no world government that can effectively sanction us. And so, in the absence of effective international agreement, we all blithely continue to heat the atmosphere. Our politics doesn't seem big enough to respond to even an existential threat. But maybe it is. Over the past few decades, since at least the Earth Summit in Rio in 1992, there have been concerted political efforts to wake us from our inaction. They've not always been successful. The Kyoto Protocol of 1997, which set binding targets for rich countries, was either unsigned, as in America, non-binding, as was the case for China, or abandoned, as with Canada.